From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Okay, board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Scribner.
Here.
Supervisor Flores.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, July 25th, 9 a.m. meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. At this moment, we'll begin today's meeting with the flag salute led by Supervisor Perez, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whatever you prefer.
Thank you, Chair. Please stand. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call on Nick Cullen, our Director of Animal Services, to introduce our Pet of the Week. Thank you. Who do we have with us today?
Good morning, Chairman Flores, members of the board. I brought with me Cordelia. Cordelia's about a two-year-old Chihuahua mix. She came to the Kern County Animal Shelter with puppies. Thankfully, all the puppies have found a home, and we're seeking placement for Cordelia. She's actually a good mom. We've taken another litter of puppies that came in without a mom, and she's caring for those too. So she's available for adoption right now at the Kern County Animal Shelter.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Cordelia, what a beautiful name. Sounds like a country song. Okay, at this time, we'll begin considering the consent agenda. Agendas are located at the back of the room for anyone wishing to follow along. Okay. On page 2, items 5 through 7. Page 3, items 8 through 14. Page 4, items 15 through 21. Page 5, items 22 through 26. and 28. Page 6, items 29 through 35. And on page 7, items 36 through 41. That includes all the items on consent. Is there any member of the public that would like to comment on those items? Now is the time. Please come forward.
Good morning, Board. David Fluhart, Havilah, 1st District. It's not a consent agenda item, but a closed session item. Number 42, conference with labor negotiators. I don't know. There's going to be a recurring theme here for a while, but I'm just not satisfied with the way things are going. Basically, labor negotiations, there's probably going to be a raise or bonuses or something like that. Cost of living things. And but the rest of the world's getting tough for us people, too. And it's just adding up and adding up and adding up, and it's getting harder and harder and harder. And I hate to call out people, but just a couple of weeks ago, our family, we paid our taxes on our properties, and then a couple of weeks later, we got, returned checks to us saying that it had already been paid. So we went, I went to the window there on the 2nd floor and wanted to find out some information. And after about, 10 minutes of whatever, the basic question was the second payment made? And she would not tell me. It's right there on her computer in front of her. She wanted $9 for a research fee. Okay, you want to talk about livid. I control my anger pretty good, but that one was just, I don't know. I mean, do we give bonuses for that kind of behavior? I mean, it's functional, something else. I'd wonder where this $9 fee came in. I can understand a research fee if I'm asking for like 20 years of information or something, but as a tax-paying citizen, I swear to God, I would think I have the right that my employee would just tell me the simple answer, yes or no, if the second payment was made. And I couldn't get that. And, all right, 2 minutes is up. I'm not going to let you yell at me right now, so I'm out of here. And thank you very much.
Sorry about that interaction, and we'll strive to do a better job. Okay, David? Any other public comment on consent items? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Motion on.
Second.
Okay, members, cast your vote, please.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, at this time, that brings us to item number 1. This is a resolution honoring Ryan J. Alsop for his dedicated and distinguished service as Kern County's Chief Administrative Officer, and Supervisor Zach Scribner will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my honor to make the motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
The motion is approved. All
Mr.
ayes.
Fluhart, so we're going to let the presentation proceed, and then we'll invite public comment, okay?
I appreciate that. I want to bring out a point of order that this is on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
There is supposed to be public comment on anything on the agenda.
That's what I just said.
No, hold on. Please hear me out. I'm trying to be reasonable here.
There is going to be public comment, but let the presentation proceed, and then you can comment.
Public comment is for things not on this agenda. And this is on this agenda. I understand
we
your
haven't come
concern.
we haven't come to public comment yet. Public comment's going to be in a while. But we'll have public comment. There's 2 types of public comment. There's public comment on the agenda, and we're going to allow public comment on this resolution item. So you could speak to both or none. It's up to you.
I don't want to waste my 2 minutes on public presentations on this issue. Okay, so your Fluhart rule in here that says that you can talk about the closed session items should also have a list for the presentations and resolutions.
We will allow that.
Well, thank you for allowing it for today. I'm sure that next time the agenda comes out, it'll be advanced and have those other words so this doesn't happen.
Sure, we always allow that. But thank you, and Supervisor Scribner will now do the presentation.
Okay, so I just wanted to say I am very, very happy for you, Mr. Alsop. This is a son of Kern County. For the last 6 years, he's worked very hard. And for the last 3 years, it's been terribly difficult through what we've gone through. And if I have an allegory, I'd say you're the quarterback for a football team in the Super Bowl at the very fourth quarter, and you got the ball right in the middle of the hash marks in front of the goalpost, and now we're going to call in the kicker to just kick it up and win the game.
Thank you.
Okay? So from the bottom of my heart, congratulations. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for Napa. The climate up there is just a little bit different. The atmosphere is different. And say hi to Sausalito for me. And now, I wish I would have been able to say this before you guys voted like it should have been, but this is the first time and the only time this craziness has happened. So we'll let that slide, and I'm sure you guys will advance that little rule and add a few more words to it.
Sure, thank you. So
All right,
we
thank you
reversed
very
the
much.
order a little bit, but that's okay. Come on, Supervisor Scrivener. Thank you.
Well, Ryan, you continue to be a trailblazer, as that was a first for us. But it is my honor, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, to, on behalf of our board, to present this resolution honoring Ryan J. Alsop for his numerous accomplishments as Chief Administrative Officer of the County of Kern. I'm going to come up here. On January 2nd, 2017, the Kern County Board of Supervisors appointed Ryan J. Alsop as Kern County's Chief Administrative Officer. During his esteemed tenure, Mr. Alsop utilized a wealth of experience from high-profile industry jobs to lead Kern County's workforce and diverse communities with heart, bringing humanity to government. And throughout his nearly 7 years as CAO, Mr. Alsop managed to oversee all business functions of Kern County's dozens of departments, developed and implemented a 5-year strategic plan in alignment with the county services, operational goals, and community priorities, as well as managed Kern County's budget and finance, public safety, homelessness, and economic development while carrying out direction from the Board of Supervisors. His commitment to bettering Kern County's quality of life led to the historic investment in myriad sectors, including the rehabilitation and refurbishment of local parks and libraries, providing high-quality amenities to Kern County children and families. In addition to his commitment to residents, Mr. Alsop completely transformed Kern County internally, guiding the organization through an annual fiscal deficit of $62 million by carrying out a 4-year strategic mitigation plan to proactively balance the county's budget and alleviate service level impacts to residents. Mr. Alsop supported Kern County's public safety departments by improving compensation for first responders, bringing needed fiscal stability to the fire department that had yet to be achieved through other cost management measures, overall enhancing recruitment and retention of these critical positions, as well as restructuring compensation for all county employees to ensure they receive annual ongoing pay increases. In line with priorities surrounding public safety, Mr. Alsop led Kern County in educating communities about Measure K, Kern County's unincorporated public safety, vital services, and local control measure, which was passed by residents in 2022, establishing a 1-cent locally dedicated and controlled sales tax that will greatly aid the county in supporting crucial quality of life services vital for the safety and well-being of unincorporated residents. Mr. Alsop's consequential legacy will remain in the way he led Kern County through a homelessness crisis, spearheading the construction of Kern County's first low-barrier shelter, the M Street Navigation Center, which has helped hundreds of people experiencing homelessness acquire job skills and attain permanent housing, in addition to the creation and implementation of Kern County's first ever strategic mitigation plan to reduce homelessness. Through his actions, Mr. Alsop greatly influenced the accessibility and transparency of Kern County through his expert leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic, in addition to frequently going above and beyond to address residents' concerns through meetings with community groups and giving out his personal contact information to communities requesting help and information. Mr. Alsop leaves behind a culture unique to most public agencies, creating an environment where Kern County is believed to be a place for everyone, bringing people closer to government. Mr. Alsop will be fondly remembered as both a trailblazer and servant leader who exceeded expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. While so many accomplishments have gone unsaid, Mr. Alsop will forever be a beacon of excellence in managing Kern County's business and workforce. So therefore, it is resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, does hereby honor and commend Ryan J. Alsop for leading the County of Kern in these outstanding accomplishments during his tenure as Chief Administrative Officer, and he is wished the best in his future endeavors. Ryan, you demonstrated excellence from the first day that you arrived, and you spent 7 years with us after being away and learning a skill set and gaining experience, and I think we would all agree that you have left Kern in a much, much better place than when you found it 7 years ago. We appreciate it, we're proud of you, and I hope you're proud of your accomplishments, and I hope your family's proud of you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Say a few words here. Thank you, Supervisor Scrivener. I appreciate that very much. And I don't know who wrote that, but that's a very generous acknowledgement. And I'm just going to try to get through this without being emotional. I mean, I'm still going to try that, try and accomplish that. I've got my remarks written here today, but that's made it hard. So thank you. Yeah.
I barely made it too.
Yeah. It's fair to say that I've been looking forward to this day just as much as I've been not looking forward to it, if that makes any sense to anybody. I want to thank my wife, Melissa, for being here today. She's here in the second row, and all of her support. Through the challenges, stress, frustration, worry, along with accomplishment, it's hard not to take a job like this home with you every night. I want to thank the board. I want to include former Supervisors Maggard and Gleason in that thank you. Thank you for your leadership, all of the support that you have given me since I've been here, and most importantly for the extraordinary privilege you bestowed on me as serving as this county's chief administrator for the last 6.5 years. While 6.5 years doesn't seem like a long time, you throw in a fiscal emergency, a global pandemic, a couple of earthquakes, a forced economic transition, mental health, addiction, homeless crisis, which we haven't addressed yet, but we've been working really hard to try. Massive recruitment and retention issues with employees, labor negotiations, a sales tax initiative, restructuring, reorganizing, reworking, development, a million things in between all of that. Seems like much longer, right? And it's really 12 years in county years.
Like dog years.
The work, yeah, that's right. The work we do in local government is not for the faint of heart or the timid, and it's among the most important and consequential work being done anywhere in this country today, as I like to say. And it's by no means easy. Expectations are always very high, and there is little to no tolerance from the public for error. And with each thing done or decision made, you please one person or a group of people while making the other group mad. I want to thank each and every one of our county's employees for the work you do and your perseverance to navigate the challenges and the change that comes with that work on a daily basis. You are really what makes Kern County great, and your work is appreciated.
certainly by this administration, and I know the board. So thank you very much for that, for everything that you do. This morning I was presented with a resolution listing a variety of accomplishments, and I'm obviously grateful for that. But I didn't do all of that, just to be honest. And the truth is that I would be an absolute zero without our county's department heads and their leadership. So I want to thank them for their support and friendship during my time here. I want to thank each of them, or I want to tell each of them that it's been an honor working with them and knowing them, and I will stay in touch with them for sure. And lastly, I want to thank the staff in my office. They are quite simply some of the very best human beings I've ever worked with, and frankly, I would be nothing but just a guy, as I've said before, a guy wearing a suit and a tie without them. A double negative zero. Everything I am and everything that I've been able to accomplish here is because of them. So to each of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. And then while we're still on this item, before we move forward, are there any other members of the public that would like to speak to this item? Please come forward.
Chairman Flores, County Supervisors, I did look up. I didn't see Turnip Seed show up, but he is out of town. Kevin Burton with Kern Tax Board. You know, our board consists of the largest employers here in Kern County, and we can't thank Ryan enough for the work he put into this county, that watching our tax dollars through the county supervisors, being at our meetings when it was tough. It was some tough years. And we hope, obviously, we never see this again in the future, but we could always count on him. He was extremely honest at the board level for Kern Tax, and we just want to congratulate him. Job well done. Look forward to seeing you up in Napa Premier, hopefully this next year. We'll look forward to working with you, Jim, as we move forward for this next fiscal year. So thanks again. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Anybody else? Come on up. And this is regarding item 1.
Good morning. Gustavo Aguirre with Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment. Just from my personal experience with Mr. Ryan, I've been advocating for over 40 years. I'm 45 years old, so most of my life. And I'm here on the budget. We've been advocating for, I think, over 10 years with building healthy communities. I think most of you are aware of that project that lasted for 10 years. And when we were starting to advocate for the budget for the communities, we were learning the process, who to meet with and all of that, like supervisors and other departments. But someone told us that we need to meet with the administrator of the county, And we said, that doesn't happen, We the community normally don't have access to those kind of decision makers, that to meet with us, the community. That's not normal for us. It's just coming to public meetings and just doing our best to, get your attention so you can pay attention to the issues that we're bringing to you. And we asked for meetings with Mr. Ryan. He used to meet with groups of us, like 15, 20, 30 people, asking a lot of questions about budget, about community needs and all of that. And he was always open to meet with us. We understand, that it's impossible to do everything that we ask. We know that, but he did a lot for our communities. The current community projects that we have been advocating for that are already funded. We really appreciate that, and I know this is all of you supervisors, but also I believe that he played a key role. So I want to recognize him, for his work. Yes, I'm also critique to recognize what government do. Good, and the good things you do, but I'm okay with that. I think he deserves it. Ryan, I hope that you do well in your new journey, and our hope, from the community. Jim, we hope that we continue that relationship. I think it's been a great experience. And I will make other comments in the budget presentation, but good luck and thank you for being open to the community.
Thank you, Mr. Aguirre. So before I move on to item 2, I'd just like to echo the sentiments that was made by the public and by Supervisor Scribner. Ryan, you will be missed. There's a verse in Proverbs that says, life is but a vapor. And in public work, that tenure is even shorter. And speaking of vapors, you have literally and figuratively breathed new life into this organization. And 7 years ago, we were in tough times. There were a lot of headwinds dealing with the downturn. You took the bull by the horns. You hit the ground running. We talked about hitting the ground running. You were sprinting, be it Hart Park, the master plan, economic development, the casino, strategic succession planning of bringing in top talent people in the public workforce on your team, and that's why we're doing so well right now. The budget, we're giving pay raises. You have been steadfast in labor negotiations. Every part of county government you have touched, and you're not just an executive leader here in this building. I've seen you out in the community. He's running laps. He's looking at sprinklers. He's connected with the community. He has a pulse, and we have been very well served by that. And I wish you the best in your new assignment in Napa. And God bless you, and God bless your family. And thank you, Melissa, for sharing him. It is not easy. There's a lot of weight that goes on people's shoulders day in and day out. It's hard to escape that, but that's the business that we're in, and we're better because of it, and so is our community, so thank you. Okay, so brings us to item 2. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Supervisor Peters.
Thank you, Chairman. Ryan, I know we've talked offline some, so I'll just be brief, but it's been an honor to work with you. I really appreciate everything you've done here. Jim, I'm looking forward to working with you as well, and it's been great to get to know you and Melissa, and I wish you guys the best of luck up in Napa.
Supervisor Perez.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. Our good friend Matt Kate once told me that leadership ages you in dog years. And taking a look at you now, Ryan, I don't think that's true about you, at least, because you have handled this position with such grace. I remember when Matt called me about you. He said, my good friend is going to apply in Kern County. He said, I can't believe he's willing to go there. He said, but he's, if you get him, he'll be the best that you've ever had. And he was right. Jim, I don't mean to make you feel insecure. Because you're the reason I feel okay about all this, frankly. But you've done a hell of a job. I don't want to keep crying, so I'm going to stop. But I appreciate your professionalism, your openness to the community, and tolerating me. That's not easy. You've done it with profound class and grace. We'll miss you, and thank you. And Jim, I know you'll do great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Perez. Okay, our next item is item 2. This is to proclaim August 2023 as Valley Fever Awareness Month, and Supervisor Peters will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Chairman. Motion on number 2.
We have a motion?
Second.
I'll second. Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, Cashevit.
Motion is approved. All ayes.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm joined today by Scott Thigerson from Kern Medical to proclaim August 2023 as Valley Fever Awareness Month in Kern County. Valley fever is something very impactful to Kern County. Many of you, if you haven't had it yourselves, likely know somebody that has. About a third of cases throughout California occur right here in Kern County. So it's something very impactful in our community, and it's especially prevalent in warm summer months following wet winters, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. And as there's currently no cure for valley fever, awareness is the best tool that we have in fighting back against this right now. So I want to thank Scott for bringing this forward. And I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. The Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, has officially proclaimed August 2023 as Valley Fever Awareness Month in Kern County. And this recognition has been entered into the official board minutes and signed by our Honorable Chairman, Jeff Flores.
Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Peters. Kern Medical has a very special broad role in our community and in our county. We are the safety net hospital, caring for the most vulnerable, but we're also the area's teaching hospital, and we're also the trauma center. So with that, we care for some of the most complex patients in our area. That includes patients that have very complex valley fever. The Valley Fever Institute provides treatment options that frankly aren't available elsewhere except a very small number of large academic medical centers. As part of that mission in being a teaching hospital, where a physician, after they graduate from medical school, they have to go to residency. We have a very large residency program with 108 residents and fellows. And then if you're going to subspecialize to become an infectious disease physician that treats valley fever, you then go on for fellowship training. And we have started that fellowship. We graduated our very first fellow last year. He has joined our organization, has become a member of the faculty to continue that educational environment and that training environment. Kern County is unfortunately the epicenter of valley fever, but it isn't just here, as you know, it is across the state. Our infectious disease specialists are the ones who write the book chapters in the medical books about diagnosing and treating valley fever. The mission of that Valley Fever Institute is to provide education to the community, to physicians. It's not unusual to have a physician, whether in California or in other parts of the country, call into the Valley Fever Institute and ask for consultative advice on diagnosing and treating this terrible disease. We're honored to be able to be in that role of patient education and physician education and in care and treatment of those patients. Mr. Rob Purdy is with the Valley Fever Institute, and he's going to share a few words as well.
Thank you, Scott. So the Valley Fever Institute is actually the only patient care center that includes education and awareness in their mission and includes the patient perspective. It's something very unique to the Valley Fever Institute. And actually, that's the reason I'm here. So I'm a valley fever patient who has received all my care at Kern Medical. I joined the Valley Fever Institute in 2019 to lead their efforts to educate the community and support efforts to educate physicians. And through that, we've started a support group for patients. We have routinely had patients from Arizona, Florida, New Hampshire, St. Louis, all over the country. We also communicate with patients internationally that are struggling to find care. And you know, in addition to this huge impact that we're able to have nationwide and globally, the Valley Fever Institute continues to lead awareness and education efforts for valley fever in California, and that's becoming more and more important. Changes in the healthcare setting, people that have left and now new people coming into the healthcare profession aren't familiar with valley fever. One of the things that COVID did was it took all the oxygen out of the room. So now we need to redouble our efforts to educate our community about valley fever. And in addition to that, we continue to conduct research that is focused on better outcomes for patients, for people like me that are battling valley fever. And valley fever is becoming an increasing problem. Recently, the World Health Organization published its first ever list of fungal priority pathogens, and it identified fungal infections that present a threat worldwide. And valley fever was included on that list, even though it's only found in the Western Hemisphere and cases are predominantly in the Southwestern United States. So the impact of valley fever is global, and the efforts and the impact that the Valley Fever Institute is making is global. So we thank you for this awareness proclamation.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business at a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state and spell your name before making your presentation. Thank you. Any public comment, please come on forward.
David Fluhart, Havilah First District again. I don't get to come down here very often nowadays, so I better get it in while I'm here. This morning I was watching the morning news. I had to watch Channel 23. I've got DirecTV, and Channel 17 is having some sort of a conflict with, I don't know. But anyways, Channel 17, I don't get it anymore, and I just have to add, I miss my cup of Maddie Jansen in the morning. But anyways, I saw a commercial, and it was about trash, about separating the trash and whatnot. And at the end was, it's the law. And that concept of it's the law has gotten really huge in the last few years. And when I think about the trash thing, and I might be wrong because I really haven't been able to talk to anybody about the trash situation we've got going on. And I only watched the video from the meeting a couple weeks ago just once. But it sounded like to me that we have a problem that the state legislature is creating something, forcing you guys to uphold it, and just passing the bill, letting you guys pass the bill to the taxpayer. Okay, and I want to say that's a big problem, and I appreciate each and every one of you supervisors who stopped for a second and said, hold the train here, this isn't working right. Okay, and I really appreciate that. One thing I was disappointed about is the treasurer and the assessor seemed more than able and happy to just pass that paperwork from the legislature straight to the property taxes. I mean, if I was the treasurer, I'd have been like, hey, I don't know if this is right. You know, I mean, we're hammering people on their property taxes and, it's just becoming a problem. And I want to say I appreciate the sheriff for when that rule from the legislature came down that you had to do masking and whatnot, he wasn't gonna send his deputies to be mask patrol. So I hope in the future more people stand up for what there is.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you
Fluhart.
very much.
Okay, any other comments? Please come forward. Okay. This brings us to item number 27 under County Administrative Office. This is a board member comments or announcements. I passed that. Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Krause. Okay, under item 27, this is a fiscal year 2023-2024 recommended budget discussion, and this will be led by Mr. Ryan Alsop. Good morning, Ryan. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm going to just turn it right over to Ms. Martinez, our Chief Financial Officer, for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Martinez.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Let me start first by saying that 6 years don't feel like 6 years when you have a great leader that supports you, respects you, and challenges you. So I really appreciate the last 6 years working with Mr. Alsop in the budget and any other endeavor that he has taken. He's As a Hispanic immigrant from the East Side, I really appreciated him. When he came over, Mr. Aguirre is right. He dragged me into a meeting with 30 people, crammed in a little room, where I became the budget director, the interpreter, and a supporter for our community. But he was there supporting, listening to the needs, so I really appreciated that. So once again, last night I provided your board and the public with the timeline of the county's budget process. Today I will provide your board and the public with a summarized overview of last night's presentation that includes an update to the preliminary budget for the general fund and the fire fund. And the reason we do only those two funds is because those are the two funds that benefit from property tax directly. And those are the two funds that, especially the general fund, that has the concept of carry forward that I explained last night. Carry forward concept is money that was collected that wasn't spent by departments. And as I indicated last night, the main issue that we're having is recruitment of staff. So the assumption is that when we prepare the budget, departments are allocated funds, that the idea is that they're gonna spend every penny of that. Some do, some do not. And so in the case when we have recruitment and retention challenges, there are vacancies that are funded that the money carries forward to the following year. We use that to then support the departments. They're able to keep a portion of that carry forward, but we also have the ability to redirect those funds in the general fund, especially for one-time sources, because that revenue is at one time. The next year, those positions that were not filled are funded again, so therefore it's an ongoing cost again. But again, net carry forward is the concept of unspent funds that are then repurposed, and that's a concept for the general fund only. So after today's presentation, we will rebalance the budget and make adjustment to the preliminary budget based on critical needs and your board's directions and priorities. So here's the general fund, overall, a lot of numbers. But what I want to concentrate this morning is on that second line, operating special revenue funds. I know what it is, but probably the public and your board don't know what that means. What that means are those are the operating funds in the county that we provide service for our community. We have our Department of Human Services. We spend $630 million providing adoption, CalWorks, child protective services. There's hundreds of programs and services that we provide for our community. We have behavioral health and recovery services. You heard last night about the homelessness and the mental health issues that we have in our community. We spend annually $355 million in that. Aging and adult services, child support, roads, fire. We have a small department, the small funds or departments like code compliance, environmental health, and others that made up that big number that we call operating special revenue funds. Last night you heard about employment services, having the, services for our community so they can get jobs. We have our employment grants to our employers training resources. That's $37 million that we have available to help people that are unemployed, underemployed, or youth that are disengaged and are not going to school, but we're trying to get them training to get into the workforce. So we have a lot of programs, even though it's just numbers, those numbers, I want to make sure that the public and your board understand that translate to services, a lot of services for our community. What we're here to talk is about our general fund. If you see, our general fund is increasing $121 million, and this year we're including additional investments in cybersecurity, part operations, cost increases in utilities, transfers for our Department of Human Services, elections, and one of the things that I did not mention last night, we are investing additional funds on our Animal Services Department. We are funding a veterinarian that they currently don't have on staff. We're trying to recruit that position. We're funding an additional animal care worker in the general fund. And as I'll mention later, we're making changes. We're trying to recruit veterinarian technicians. Those are very hard to recruit classification, and we're trying something different. We're creating a pipeline for our own employees to become veterinary technicians. So what I want to talk to you about is the year-end balances. The year-end balances has two components. One is the increase in our property tax after the assessor completes the assessment roll in June 30th. So the assessor has finalized those numbers, and they have provided to us a total assessed value of $123.3 billion. This is an increase of $7.9 billion or 6.85%. This is a good increase, but last year the increase was 13.16 increase. So we are seeing a decline. And despite the recent slowdown on the real estate market, usually due to the high interest rate, our secure roll saw an increase of 8%. However, our oil and gas that we have been mentioning only did not see that big increase, only saw an increase of 1.71, which lowered the overall assessed value to that 6.85 that I mentioned. Here's our overall assessed value history. As you can see, we barely made it back to the 2014 assessed value in 2021. We are seeing a little increase with the housing market like it is, but our oil and gas continues to decline. Since 2014, it has declined 50%, and now in 2014, it accounted for 33% of the total assessed value. Last year was 14%. This coming year is only 13%. With those changes in assessed value, property tax has increased about approximately $21.3 million. Once we add additional sales tax that we estimate we're going to have and additional interests that we're going to earn on our general fund, we estimate the total overall available discretionary revenue is $40.1 million. And let me tell you why we call it discretionary revenue. There are some programs your board has no option but to fund. I think you heard about a lot last night. Why are we funding public safety? Your board has no option. You have to fund a jail. It's not discretionary. That is a mandate that we have. We have to have district attorneys at the courts prosecuting. We have to have public defenders. We can determine the level of funding, but you still have to provide those services. So there's a lot of things that we do in the county that are mandated to us, and there's a few that we have some level of discretion. Parks, libraries, those are the things that we have some level of discretion to fund. So carry forward in the general fund is $44.5 million. Again, is the result of significant challenges with recruiting and retaining staff. And the 40 combined with the 44.5 give us $84.6 million in additional resources. So these resources we are recommending for one-time projects and an ongoing additional vital services. I'm not going to go over the entire list. I'm just going to highlight a few for your board and the public. The first one is, why are we funding 25 detention deputies? Our goal has been, as I mentioned, the staffing at the jail is a mandated function that the county has to do. We have to have staff at the jail to provide the service. We're mandated. When detention deputies are not available, then sheriff deputies get pulled from patrol and they have to work at the jail. Then we don't have those services in our community. We have to provide for the safety of our community. So by funding the detention deputies, we hope that we're able to then release those patrol deputies that are currently working at the jail setting into our community, providing for the safety of our community. You heard last night about Roseman. They love the investment we're doing in the parks, but they want to feel safe when they go to the parks. So our goal is by hiring detention deputies, making sure that they work at the setting that they're trained for, we can get those patrol deputies out in the community. Last night, you heard a lot about our animal services and the crisis that we're having, not nationwide, but in our county. And as I mentioned, we are increasing the level of service. It may not be spelled out, and maybe we shouldn't use the word status quo. The funding hasn't decreased. It's just the demand for services is increasing significantly at the shelter. So what I've done today is we have the allocation that I mentioned last night, the $208,000. To fund those registered veterinarian increase in salary, so we're able to recruit the veterinary assistants classification that we're trying to create to train our own staff to take care of the animals. But what I have added to today, after consulting with our animal services director, we need to take care of the additional animals at the shelter. So we have 5 additional animal care workers funded. We're proposing for your board to consider at $391,000. And we also want to add to our spay and neuter funds. Last year, your board increased that allocation. Now we're asking for an additional $100,000. That will be $500,000 of county resources that we're allocating, so our animal services department can go out in the community, have spay and neuter events, so we can try to reduce the number of animals that are coming to the shelter. I want to highlight code compliance. Your board heard last night also what's going on in our community, homelessness. Not listed here, but part of our Measure K. I want to remind your board that we are investing in our behavioral health services to go on East Kern to do another med unit. We're going to have our behavioral health workers work with the sheriff and go and try to work with the community to assist and provide services. Homelessness is not just a housing issue, it's a mental health issue, it's a substance use issue, so we have to address it from all angles. I mentioned to your board the increase in the retirement. That is coming in fiscal year 24-25. But what we're doing, once again, with your leadership is preparing. We don't want to find ourselves like we did a few years back, where we had to take cuts because the retirement rate increased. We're preparing so we maintain our service level, but we also have the funds available to pay for that increased cost that is the result of an assumption change. There's nothing this board has done to cause that increase. It's just how the retirement system values their assets, and we have to pay that additional cost. So our fund balance, last night I also talked to your board about how we're allocating our available fund balance. This is a one-time source, and we're making some contribution to some investment, but we're also adding, and I don't think I touched a lot last night, we're increasing our designation on fiscal stability. We are spending a lot of money. We're funding a public safety communication. We're setting aside funds for an animal control facility. We're building a corner facility. We have been preparing for it. But we also need to make sure that our fiscal stability, in case sales tax goes down, in case there's a housing crash, that we're ready and prepared so we don't find ourselves in another fiscal emergency. So what I have for your board is, if you see, we ended the year at June 30th in the general fund with $230 million in reserve. We're asking your board to allocate additional funds both to our fiscal stability, to our retirement, recruitment and retention, our animal services infrastructure, and then of course we're doing the increases to our economic development that your board has set up for your specific districts. I'm not going to go over on the fire fund, but I think the reason we put it in front of you, because we have seen a lot of challenges. As you heard Mr. Alsop's resolution, we work with the fire department, we work with your new leadership. We have been doing a lot of changes, helping them. We did a property tax transfer. We purchased equipment for them from the general fund. We allocated a federal source that we received for their new helicopter. So there's a lot of things that we have done for your fire fund. All their positions are funded. All the fire stations are open. So those are the things that we have worked with the fire department. And we also had set up reserves. They didn't have those. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have money set aside for capital or for pension increases. So what we're doing is this year, they also have an increase in property tax. As I mentioned, they benefit directly from property tax. So we're taking a portion of that and setting it aside so when the pension cost increases, they have those funds available as well. So what's next? The next step in this process, we'll be happy to hear your board direction today, and we'll incorporate any additional changes your board has, and we'll include them in the final budget. We'll have budget hearings on August 29 at 9 a.m. And this concludes all my remarks, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez, and thank you to staff and the CEO's office for actively listening last night and making adjustments. So thank you. Your participation makes a difference. Okay, so at this time, I'll open up public comment on this item. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come on up.
My name's Janet Becker, Becker. Didn't bring any props today. No jokes either, darn it. I want to thank you, Ms. Martinez, where are you? Oh, anyway, thank you for making the adjustments to the budget, and that was encouraging. And I don't mean to be grabby, but I think we need 10 animal care workers, not 5. While we're on the subject, the time that I've served down there, and I've gotten to know the employees, and they are frazzled. They're frazzled. They're being asked to do 5 different jobs. They can't do their jobs efficiently. For example, you'll have the rescue department, which in the last few months has been really doing great. But they are asked to leave their desk, go clean out kennels, and that takes a couple of hours, then come back to do their rescue job. They're very splintered. And the rescue, to me, is the most important job. Probably, well, you know, cleaning poop's important, but it's really important to get the dogs out of here. We have too many dogs because of all the breeding. And so there are counties and states that treat the dogs more responsibly. We need to get the dogs there and kind of lighten our load here. And I think rescue is important. And when we have such bare minimum, even with 5 more, we don't have enough workers there. And so I would ask for 10 while we're at it. They need to be paid a little bit more. They're just at rock bottom wages, and these people are doing the most traumatic work that I can think of. They're watching dogs that they connect with and that they care for. They're watching them die. Many of them have to walk them back there. You know, they need to be paid more. They need to be encouraged. And the last question I have is, when will the new shelter be started and when will it be ready? The current break shop that they're operating in is not, they don't have indoor, outdoor. The dogs don't get fresh air. They're pretty small. So that's a question that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Becker. Next speaker, please.
Good morning again. Gustavo Aguirre with Center on Risk, Poverty, and the Environment.
Good morning.
Supervisor Couch, last night I mentioned that we added Casey Avenue, which is the neighbor street to San Jose. You know, you already looked for funds on Lytle Avenue, and I think when we met with you, you showed interest of, you know, why one at a time. So we added that, and we already started talking to the neighbors. So, you know, looking forward to work on that. Also, I think last night I made comments on, you know, our list that we submitted. I think there are different projects. Some of the projects, yes, you know, sidewalks and paving streets, that may take some time to get the funds, but there are some projects that, as I mentioned last night, I don't think those need a lot of investment, like the comments made on the intersections on streets, you know, a county jurisdiction near Irving. I think those can be fixed with not a lot of investment. I asked, you know, if you can review the list of projects and see, you know, which of those projects can you do right now. I understand, you know, that there are others that may require more money, but I believe there are some of those projects that can be done, you know, sooner than later. And last night I left the meeting thinking, you know, why? I think we need more residents to come, but I think we had a good amount of people from the community asking for lights, sidewalks, and all of that. And you know, I was thinking, why the majority of the community is still, you know, difficult, but still come. And I think my conclusion was, you know, we come here to talk to you because, you know, I think the community, we come because we don't have that political and economic power and leverage to you directly, you know, to talk to you directly. So our best option is coming to you and speak to you. So please consider the projects that we submitted and other residents submitted, the solar lighting. We will be willing to work on that. We start something with Mrs. Lorelei. We found a lot of obstacles, but I think in most of the communities there is an issue.
Your time has elapsed. Will you bring your comments?
There is an issue on public lights. So if you want to talk on that, you know, that matter, we will be happy to participate and look for solutions on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, please. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm back here again. Mr. Flores, to the board, good morning. Mr. Onsop, congratulations. You're moving on to prettier horizons. Thank you for all the work that you've done. The comments that you made, sometimes it's not hard. It's not easy listening to community members' concerns. I'm one of those people that give you a headache sometimes, I'm sure. So I wish you the best of luck. In regards to the budget.
Can you provide us your name for the record?
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
Nadine Escalante. In regards to the comments made last night by the community about our concerns, they're valuable. And I want to remind Ms. Martinez of that. When you're talking about the budget, please take into consideration us from the community. We are leaving our families to come here for several hours to express our concerns. When she was referring to, we have to have jails and we have to fill the 25 DOs and we have to take those sheriffs off of the street. We're incarcerating people for being homeless. We're incarcerating people in our jails for misdemeanor crimes. If we stop doing that, we'll stop wasting county money. When you have to have the DA's office prosecute these people, we stop wasting the DA's money and we start saving the money to go to parks, go to lights, go to streets. I've seen with the district attorney's office, because of the advocacy work I do with our schools, that we are punishing juveniles for getting in fights at school. We're wasting time having kids go through our juvenile court system, sending them into the probation system, and having children on probation who have no business on probation. These are ways that we can save money in the county budget and invest it in our community with lights, with streets, with safer communities, with parks, to help our Roseman community members. One of the people here speaking, I didn't even realize it was my aunt until after the meeting. Advocacy is in the blood. This is why it's important. This is why I mention what goes on in Roseman, because I hear from my family about what they're lacking out there. And it's unfair because I know the county is better and capable of more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Escalante. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Leonardo Ledesma, and we're a resident from San Jose Avenue, and we've been living there for about 6 years, and it's a small dirt road in Delano, which it's a small dirt road. It's been like that since we've been living there, and also we have no electrical, which, we have solar panels, but the solar panels are not enough. I believe that last year, or we came here to speak with you guys, and you guys said that you guys were gonna help us. But to be honest, we've been there and we just feel like nothing has been done. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, like the last time that we came here, when we left, we felt excited because we felt like we were gonna get the help. But a few months passed by and we felt like nothing happened. Basically, the solar panels that we have, it's not enough. And it's us three. These two are my brothers, and my parents couldn't even come today because they were at work. But we said, like, this is not gonna stop us from going out there and speak to mention something. I feel like the last time we came, you guys said that you guys were gonna help us, but we feel like nothing has been happening. This winter, it rained a lot. The road, how can I explain it? For us, it's very hard because, for example, it was raining. It was the last winter, it was raining a lot. For them to go to school, just imagine waking up at 6:30 in the morning and getting stuck on the road because it's the dirt road. And with water, it just makes it really hard just to get them to school. Like, for me, I'm in college right now, so if I get there late, it's up to me. But them, I feel bad for them, you know? And same with the electrical, we just feel like it's not something that it's impossible to do.
Thank you, Mr. Ledesma. Your time's elapsed. Will you please bring your comments to a close? Respectfully.
But I just feel like we could please just help us with that.
Okay, well, thank you for the reminder, and I don't recall, because a lot of people come before us, but, okay, but your supervisor and you can connect at a future time, okay? But thank you for coming.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, Supervisor Couch.
can I ask, are you all leaving right now, or are you going to stick around a little while? Do you have time? If you can, I think this is the last item before we go to closed session. I'd like to spend just a minute with you before you leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
David Fleur, Havilah, 1st District again. It kind of occurred to me that I first came to the Board of Supervisors in 2013. And at that point, I wasn't happy with a lot of things. One of them was the courts up there in Lake Isabel. They're being closed. And anyways, over the 10 years, I don't know, and I haven't been here for the last 3 years. But some things just seem to be the same. I mean, when I came here 10 years ago, it was cats and dogs. They were complaining about Delano roads, I guess, next to the prison with no lights, and just a lot of things are just the same, just status quo. And you guys really don't have much of a budget to work with, and it's getting harder and harder every year to do more and more. And my sympathy really goes out for you. Economics, unlimited wants, limited resources, and then you guys got to try and figure it out. And sometimes you just got to get super creative to change the game or something. I mean, I don't know. It's been 10 years, and I don't know. I got this mental brain fog of the whole thing. It's just like, wow. I don't know. Like I said before, hopefully we can kick the ball through the uprights like a football allegory, I don't know. Something's got to change. But here we are, year after year, same thing. All right, that's pretty much it. Pretty lame comments I got there, but I don't know. I feel almost helpless. I feel it for you guys, too. I don't know. All right, maybe I should go back and watch more videos of past budgets and see and compare and see where we really are in the future. All right, thank you very much, and I'm done before 2 minutes.
There you go, spot on. Thank you, Mr. Fleur. Next speaker, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Leobardo Chavez, and I come with my wife.
Lisa Ramirez.
We're pretty much coming from the same street, San Jose Avenue. Pretty much asking for help with electric and the road. But for us, mainly it would be the electric, because as of probably like a couple months, we were in the process of building, or we're actually done building already. We inspected all the other inspections passed already. Pretty much we needed the last inspection, and that was before we came here, I think. Oh no, after we came here. The inspectors pretty much told us that we couldn't sign our house no more because we don't have electric. And we just wanted to see if we could do something about that, because honestly we didn't think that was fair.
Ever since we came here to speak for help for you guys, we actually went to the inspectors, and they told us, well, since you guys are asking for help, we got in trouble because we're signing homes and properties out there. And so basically they said, we're not signing you no more because you're looking for help somewhere else.
And honestly, we didn't know nothing about that. We just kind of wanted to, obviously it benefits us to get road right there, electric right there.
Which is why we came for help here.
Yeah, we didn't know that we were gonna get anyway, until we just came looking for a purpose to help our,
obviously, it's convenient for us and our family. We need it, and now we have this home just there, sitting there, empty, and we can't get it passed because there's no light, and it's so frustrating because we're paying rent. We have an apartment having a full house there, and on top of that, we're paying also storage for all of our things that don't fit anywhere. It is so frustrating, and we have a baby. We've had this home ready since 3 years ago. We've been starting this process, and now nothing.
It was pretty much done already. We were gonna run off of generators, and everything was okay with that. Like we were planning on running generators. Obviously, we have solar too, but we don't have enough to power up the whole house. So we were thinking, okay, generators. But I had my inspection, and they told me that, oh, you know what, we can't go no more because you guys got to figure out what happens to light. But
Especially with summer and everything happening right now, and we want to have legal habitation. So this doesn't happen again. Will you leave your address, your contact information, so we can follow up with you?
Okay.
And troubleshoot that, okay?
Yes. Okay.
Especially
Chairman?
since you have a little one. Oh, Supervisor Couch.
Would you mind sticking around with the other folks?
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, please. Okay, final call. Okay. Seeing none, I'll move back to board member comments or questions for staff. Okay. I did have.
I punched in.
Oh, sorry, Supervisor Scrivener, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I would have been happy to wait for you. I just wanted to thank Ms. Martinez and staff from CAO for pointing out some specifics when it came to the animal services questions that were asked last night. In addition to several areas, another explanation of our efforts to hire detention deputies so we can move more of our frontline deputies, patrol deputies, out into the communities. I think we need to continue to reiterate to the public that is our strategy in order to ultimately have more law enforcement presence out in each of the substation areas. And so I thought that was very helpful today. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Supervisor Scrivener. I did have a question for staff, either to Ms. Martinez or our CAO's office. There was a question raised by the public in terms of timeline about the investment in animal control in terms of our design and our new facility. Do we have a timeline estimate that we might be able to share at this juncture?
Yep, Chairman Flores and board members, yes. So this budget provides funding to do full design and engineering. That would take approximately a year. So this next fiscal year, 23-24, we would finalize those plans, working with animal control and the appropriate engineers and architects in preparation to go out to bid for construction the following year. Probably take 2 years to construct, would be my rough estimate. So we're probably 3 years out from completion, and I'd say 3 to 4, just depending on timelines for supply chain and everything else. But that's what we can expect, and we'll be back before your board with updates this next year as we go through that design process.
Thank you, Mr. Zervis. And before I go to Supervisor Perez, I had one final comment. Thank you to our staff for the budget and for the adjustments since yesterday. We're moving in the right direction. I just wanted to share a quick story. As I was not touring, but I accompanied Sheriff's Drug Task Force on some dispensary raids, illegal dispensaries, because we have a land use ordinance that prohibits marijuana shops in the county of Kern, with exception of 2 municipal jurisdictions. In any case, what I saw in there was very troubling. There were psychedelics, there was mushrooms, there were guns, there's bad drugs, bad people in areas that these need not be. The areas near churches, schools, business districts, and it disproportionately affects socioeconomic areas in Oildale, in East Bakersfield, North Chester, South Chester, East Kern, and I don't want to get into too much of that, but you never see these shops near the Nordstrom Rack or in nicer parts of town. They disproportionately affect people in lower socioeconomic areas, and it's just unacceptable. And there's no fault for that. We're dealing with bad actors. But I was very encouraged by the shared responsibility of code enforcement, of our district attorney, Cynthia Zimmer, of our sheriff, Donna Youngblood, of even the state Bureau of Cannabis Control. They came together to clean up these shops. And in this one day, they took down 4 or 5. And that's 4 or 5, I know that some of them pop up, but that's 4 or 5 that kids don't have to deal with, that businesses don't have to deal with. And so what I'm getting at is I'd like to see some further adjustments and restoration of the of the high intensity drug trafficking task force to give the resources and tools to our law enforcement to shut down these illegal establishments that are a blight on our community, that impact business, that impact neighborhoods. And so I want to leave that for staff moving forward as we come back for the budget. And those are my thoughts. Supervisor Perez.
Chairman, thank you. To the CAO team, I want to say thanks for your flexibility. And I love what our chairman said, the active listening that occurred last night. I think that was right on. There was, there's an openness in this process. It is constantly changing, right? Circumstances, the body politic is constantly shifting. And so open lines of communication are so critical that we voice our complaints, right? We voice our praise. That's normal stuff. And I like that it's happening in here and it's happening with some openness, and that we seem to be taking the criticism a little less personal, which I think is really important, because this government belongs to the people. It's theirs. They pay for it. If they're frustrated, we need to listen to them, and we need to do everything that we can to improve their perception of us, right? The level of service that we're giving. Everything we do is contingent upon the public. They pay our salaries. They give us this life. And so I want to thank you to the public for your contributions. Gustavo, thank you. I really appreciate seeing you here through the years. Effective advocacy, building friendships and relationships, right? Listening to the needs and wants of other communities, recognizing that your community is not the only community. It's not the only needs. We have profound needs in Kern County. 8,000 square mile county has profound and endless needs, and I just so appreciate coming together and saying, what can we work on together? I would like to say regarding the animal welfare issues, we had great and profound success here 10 years ago, as Supervisor Scrivener alluded to yesterday, when we came together and very aggressively on a regular basis had spay and neuter clinics all throughout the community on a regular basis. We flooded the community with these opportunities. We made them so enticing, so cheap, and so exciting that people could not say no. So if we're going to take this issue seriously, beyond coming here and all the incredible stressful work that you're engaged in, which is too much for you, too much for anybody. I have lots of friends in the animal welfare community. They're all overwhelmed. We really need a central plan as a county, and I think that we could really formulate that with some relative ease, because we've done it before. We started doing spay and neuter in the community, taking the unit out and doing this for free or for $5. People came out in the hordes, and we had big improvements as a result of that. So if we're serious about taking this issue on again, we need a county-wide plan that's very aggressive and that involves a huge adoption program, I see some things that are going on around the country, where aggressive pairing of animals with senior citizens, right? Addressing some of our larger kind of loneliness epidemic realities that impact certain aspects of our population more than others. That there are real solutions here. There's high school kids that need internship hours. We can get them in there. And then, of course, ultimately building a pipeline of our own talent, our own people, right? Dual enrollment in high school. We need to get young people in the pipeline earlier to get these skills, and that we can keep them right here in Kern County caring for, man's best friend. There's no question that we can unite around that outside of politics, background, whatever corner of this county you come from. I have never seen the kind of unity, love, and community as when, Zach, you recall, we as a community aggressively took spay and neuter on, and we had huge successes, to your point, and we need to get back to that. So we have a blueprint for it. That's what's exciting. And you have the energy, because certainly it could not happen without that. So let's get together and talk about that. Maybe we do a hearing in here where we lay out, here are the numbers, here's a long-term plan. Nick Colin cannot solve it by himself. This Board of Supervisors cannot solve it. Everybody's overwhelmed. But with your passion and your organizing, we can do this. I truly believe that with all my heart. And you guys really, with those pictures in particular from yesterday that me and Margot can't stop crying about, that really, what a creative, artistic, and beautiful way to express your love and how you see them. And it is just really was really refreshing. I really appreciate you guys. So let's do that. Let's get moving on that. And we can do it. We've done it before. We just have to say that it's our priority and not be distracted from it. So thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Supervisor Scrivener.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your comments on the illegal dispensaries in the unincorporated areas of Kern County, and just want to make a distinction between the illegal dispensaries that are storefronts that you see them in the strip malls. You see them next to the laundry mats. You see them next to the beauty salons, some grocery stores, unfortunately, which are different than some of these home delivery services that are occurring as far as their nuisance factor with neighboring businesses and neighborhoods, where you have kids that are walking to and from school. You have neighboring businesses that are complaining incessantly about odors, about vagrants, about just a slew of issues that seem to be attracted by some of these illegal dispensaries that are operating. In recent years past, I'd had conversations with your predecessor, Supervisor Maggard, and the Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's offices and the County Administrative Office and code compliance about enforcement efforts. There were some innovative ideas, I believe, that were discussed. There were some requests from Sheriff's Department for more help from code, at least more accessibility and timely response from code. All things that we'd like to see happen that unfortunately were constrained by staffing issues and essentially money. And so between now and the August adoption of the budget, I'd like to get together with you and the sheriff, the DA, the CAO, and code and really try to dig in on this and find out, are there some resources that we can apply to this that hasn't already been identified in this current budget that can start to make some more impact. I think you mentioned very aptly that you don't see these dispensaries in some parts of the county. You see it in other parts, and you mentioned less affluent areas. It also has to do with areas that are proximate to other counties, specifically Rosamond, where they've had up to 20 dispensaries in a town of 18,000 people, where virtually all the traffic is coming in from Lancaster and Palmdale, which are in Los Angeles County. I've talked about this many, many times. It's a manpower issue. It's the fact that we live in the state of California where penalties are so low that this is a whack-a-mole game where you shut them down and they're open 4 hours later. Right back to the same thing. But we did have some thoughts that came out of those discussions where the property owners themselves can potentially be held liable, hit them really where it counts. And so I'd like to ask that we get something on our calendars pronto in order to have those discussions, as I said, ahead of the final budget adoption. So thank
Absolutely. Thank you, Supervisor Scrivener, for your cogent remarks, and I look forward to working with you in that direction and with our law enforcement and all the parties involved. Thank you. Okay. If there's no other member comments, entertain a motion.
Is this a receive and file on this as well? Okay, then I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Please cast your vote.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, having no more items to consider in open session, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to consider the following under the County Administrative Office. Item 42, conference with labor negotiators, and under County Council, items 43, 44, and 45. Motion to adjourn. So moved.
conditions.